Then Viroshana went to the devils, full of self-satisfaction, and gave them this teaching. We ourselves are our own bodies, and those must be made happy on earth. It is our bodies that should be in glory, and it is for them that we should have servants. He who makes his body happy, he who for his body has servants, he is well in this world and also in the world to come. That is why men here on earth, that is why when here on earth a man will not give any gifts, when a man has no faith and will not sacrifice, people say, this man is a devil. For this in truth their devil for this is in truth their devilish doctrine. They dress their dead bodies with fine garments and glorify them with perfumes and ornaments, thinking that thereby they will conquer the other world. But before Indra had returned to the gods, he saw the danger of this teaching, and he thought, if ourself, our Atman, is the body, and is dressed in clothes of beauty, when the body is, and is covered with ornaments, when the body is, then when the body is blind, the self is blind, and when the body is lame, the self is lame, and when the body dies, our self dies. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. He therefore went back to Prayapati with fuel in his hand as a sign that he wanted to be his pupil. Why have you returned, great Maghavan? asked Prayapati. You went away with Viroshana, with peace in your heart. Indra replied, even as the Atman, the self, our soul, is dressed in clothes of beauty when the body is, and is covered with ornaments when the body is. When the body is blind, the self is blind. When the body is lame, the self is lame. And when the body dies, the self dies. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. It is even so, Maghavan, said Prayapati. I will teach you a higher doctrine. Live with me another 32 years. Indra was with Prayapati another 32 years, and then Prayapati said, the spirit that wanders in joy in the land of dreams, that is the Atman, that is the immortal beyond fear, that is Brahman. Then Indra left with peace in his heart, but before he returned to the gods, he saw the danger of this teaching, and he thought, even if in dreams when the body is blind, the self is not blind, or when the body is lame, the self is not lame, and does not indeed suffer the limitations of the body, so that when the body is killed, the self is not killed, yet in dreams the self may seem to be killed, and to suffer, and to feel much pain and weep, I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. He therefore went with fuel in hand back to Prayapati, who said to him, you left, Maghavan, with peace in your heart. Why have you returned? Indra replied, even if in dreams when the body is blind, the Atman is not blind, or when the body is lame, the Atman is not lame, and indeed does not suffer the limitations of the body, so that when the body is killed, the self is not killed. Yet in dreams, the self may seem to be killed and suffer, and to feel much pain and weep. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. What you say is true, Maghavan, said Prayapati. I will teach you a higher doctrine. Live with me for another 32 years. Indra was with Prayapati another 32 years, and then Prayapati said, the spirit who is sleeping without dreams in the silent quietness of deep sleep, that is the Atman. That is the immortal, beyond fear. That is Brahman. Then Indra left with peace in his heart. But before he had reached the gods, he saw the danger of this teaching, and he thought, if a man is in deep sleep, without dreams, he cannot even say, I am. And he cannot know anything. He, in truth, falls into nothingness. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. And he went again to Prayapati with fuel in his hand. Why have you returned? Asked Magavan. You left with peace in your heart, asked Prayapati. Indra replied, if a man is in deep sleep without dreams, he cannot even say, I am. And he cannot know anything. He, in truth, falls into nothingness. I cannot find any joy in this doctrine. What you say is true, Magavan, said Prayapati. I will teach you a higher doctrine, the highest that can be taught. Live with me now for 5 years. And Indra lived with Prayapati for 5 years. He lived with Prayapati a total of years 101. This is why people say great Indra lived with Prayapati, the life of chastity, of brahmacharya, spiritual student, for 101 years. Prayapati then spoke to Indra. It is true that the body is mortal, that it is under the power of death, but it is also the dwelling of Atman, the spirit of immortal life. The body, the house of the spirit, is under the power of pleasure and pain. And if a man is ruled by his body, then a man can never be free. But when a man is in the joy of the spirit which is ever free, then this man is free from all bondage, the bondage of pleasure and pain. The wind has not a body, nor lightning, nor thunder, nor clouds, but when those rise into the higher spheres, then they find their body of light. In the same way, when the soul is in silent quietness, it arises and leaves the body, and reaching the spirit supreme, finds there its body of light. It is the land of infinite liberty where beyond its mortal body the spirit of man is free. There can he laugh and sing of his glory with ethereal women and friends. He enjoys ethereal chariots and forgets the cart of his body on earth. For as a beast is attached to a cart, so on earth the soul is attached to a body. Know that when the eye looks into space, it is the spirit of man that sees. The eye is only the organ of sight. When one says, I feel this perfume, it is the spirit that feels. He uses the organ of smell. When one says, I am speaking, it is the spirit that speaks. The voice is the organ of speech. When one says, I am hearing, it is the spirit that hears. The ear is the organ of hearing. And when one says, I think, it is the spirit that thinks. The mind is the organ of thought. It is because of the light of the spirit that the human mind can see and can think and enjoy this world. All the gods in the heaven of Brahman adore in contemplation their infinite spirit supreme. This is why they have all joy and all the worlds and all desires. And the man who on this earth finds and knows Atman, his own self, has all his holy desires and all the worlds and all joy. Thus spoke Prayapati.